Thanks for staying tuned. We begin today's episode of the program from the housing sector, where the federal government has once again reiterated its determination to provide affordable houses for all Nigerians. Minister of State 2 for the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, Suleiman Zarma, who was speaking in Abuja, said the government will provide houses for all Nigerians to meet contemporary challenges.
The pressure of urbanization and demography is increasing. There is need for multi-level structures to reduce cost of land and infrastructure facilities, land acquisition problems, and the housing deficit.
This is something that government in itself will want to see dealt with. Government alone cannot get this done. And that is why I was so very happy when I learned about this conference today and the fact that we have experts gathered here.
The Abuja International Housing Show has been painstakingly nurtured for these 12 years by the organizers to bring to the fore the need for all stakeholders in the housing sector to key into in order to achieve adequate and affordable housing. The continuous participation of the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing is an indication of the relevance of the objectives of the Abuja Housing Show to the core mandate of the ministry.
Representative of Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, and the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, urges key industry players in the housing sector to embark on the provision of affordable alternative housing projects to meet the needs of low-income earners in Nigeria. While addressing the theme, driving growth and sustainability in Nigeria's housing and mortgage market, improving structures and policies for impact, during the 12th edition of the Abuja International Housing Conference, they say the event is coming at a time when housing deficit figures are questionable.
Why are so many houses in Abuja empty? And yet we say there is no housing. So I'm hoping that perhaps in the course of your deliberations in this conference, the Abuja Housing Show, that you will need to look at some of these issues. There are so many houses, so many built up, and yet no one is occupying them.
In an effort to make housing available for all, the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing has expanded accessibility and affordability that will guarantee sustainable access to houses of decent living standards.
There's a contradiction in having 17 million housing deficits with hundreds of available unoccupied houses within the country. However, the income of the masses is so low that they can barely afford to subscribe to a mortgage plan from financial institutions. The President, Muhammadu Buhari-led federal government, in contributing his quota, is creating an enabling environment for the full participation of stakeholders in the private sector through restructuring of Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria to provide shelter for millions of Nigerians.
The Muhammadu Buhari administration's policy thrust on housing is geared towards making quality lifestyle a way of life for the average Nigerian through the creation of a sustainable access to decent, safe, qualitative and affordable houses for the low and middle income earners. The Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, being a valuable partner in the Abuja Housing Show, has with open hands accepted to accommodate and avail herself of the inputs and commitments of the show to driving government housing policy.
The massive training of construction industry artisans across the country through the Office of Vice President has produced a lot of graduates, a lot of artisans with the relevant skills and competency that will drive our real estate sector.
Affordable and acceptable housing will soon come to play as stakeholders call on builders to ensure they adhere to the directive by federal government and local content, adding the building materials should be sourced locally in order to boost our economy as well as create jobs for the unemployed. Speaking on behalf of the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, the Minister of State 2, Suleiman Zarma, says the ministry is committed to delivering affordable houses.
It is our aim to make the housing sector very vibrant by creating numerous jobs for laborers, artisans, craftsmen, engineers, building material manufacturers, material suppliers, and other vendors thereby contributing to an increase in the GDP.
These things are already here on ground. You may have to travel to Lagos or Ibadan or Port Harcourt to look for some things, but even in Abuja here, there are so many industries, and really the quality of what is on the market is as good as anywhere in the world.
We've already started a strategy of implementation of the Executive Order 5 of the President Buhari, in ensuring that Nigerian content is very visible in housing delivery.
The policy of the Federal Ministry of Power, Works and Housing on affordable housing is to provide access to mortgage finance and at a single-digit interest rate through strengthening the mortgage finance sector. However, the Abuja International Housing Conference organizing team, led by Festus Adebayo, in recognizing the efforts of the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing, presented an award to His Excellency Babatunde Fashola as Best Performing Minister of the Ministry in recent years, with a certificate attached which was received by Mr. Suleiman Zama.
The traffic